Aloha. Anxiety. Are you feeling that today? Anyone? Brothers? Men? You know, this comes up a lot in the men's groups. And also when we gather with men and women. The navigation of that thing, that sensation called anxiety. My question for you is, what are you doing about it? What is it doing to you? Have you started to take medicine? Are you maybe drinking coffee, right? I want to take an opportunity to speak to this thing that is actually plaguing so many people, but ask if we're looking back at some common sense solutions. And the biggest one would be sitting with the emotion, which means crafting time, observing yourself, identifying when this pops up, because it has a cyclical nature to where the anxieties will pop up maybe when a person wakes up, maybe before bed, maybe before they're getting a call from someone. What up, John? All right. And so, many people that I've come in contact with have been on certain medications, but overlooking some of the simple things like, are you hydrated? What does it mean to be dehydrated? Do you understand how important hydrogen is for the body? The fundamental building block. People think everything disappears in a black hole, but what black holes do, galactic jets, maybe astral jets, what they do is they pour out that fundamental particle. Hydrogen and water, how do they come together? They create the antenna for your consciousness, H2O, as a dipole. Think of a dipole antenna. And you can look into the teachings of good brother Ken Wheeler, where he speaks to magnetism, gravity, science. I'm still a physicist looking into these things. But if the nature of your antenna that receives your consciousness is off, you're not going to feel good. So you may be out of phase. Also, I lived in Cali for a little bit. Whole place, stinko weed, right? And other islands, Hawaii, here. Now, people would typically go to a substance to bring them a little ease. But when the substance wears off, you come out of that, okay? So, what would be better? To identify maybe the underlying cause. Often, we also have group dynamic gatherings, other modalities, and my suggestion is to pair whatever modality you have with the primordial modality of common sense, which is not common. And so looking into the foods that you're eating, which could cause hypertension and make you feel a certain way, identifying if it's an intuition thing. Maybe you're surrounded by people, you're in a situation, a circumstance that is adding to the feeling of anxiety, which is a fear underneath a fear. This worrying that something's going to happen, something's coming, something is always coming. That's the truth. What do you do with that thing that's coming? What do you do with the things that are here? So for the men in the groups that we get to gather with, of course, I love the opportunity to explore. And in our circles, you'll have a man say, okay, you're feeling this about this, but have you ever been betrayed? What happened in your childhood? What's going on in your household right now? Where are you at with your work and your job? So there's a number of things, and my suggestion is to pick these things apart. Crack open a journal, make a list. I feel anxiety about, and then begin to explore. All right? Hydration, I think, is very important. A lot of people are tense, and also your breathing. How do you breathe? When a person becomes tense, their breathing shifts, and there's a tightening that a person can feel inside. So what do I do when I feel a little tense and tight? I take a deep breath, and I hold it, and I start to see if I can feel my lungs expand. I start to feel into my body for where that tightness is, and then I exhale. And quite often, the same thing that a person would be doing when they're smoking a cigarette, smoking a little ganja, or flower leaves or whatever, it's this sensation that calms them. And then they exhale. So you don't really need to take in any extra substances to have that experience. And also for many of you who may come to Tulum or come to these other spaces where you have access to plant medicines, I've noticed also an increase in people who are going through this experience of anxiety as well. They're worried about things and it's like, okay, I need to top up again on the plant medicine. Well, again, it's about integrating the experience, and life in and of itself is a plant medicine journey with plants all around us. that have an effect on us, that have an impact on us, that we don't even explore. So it's not just going, with these noted master plants, but in truth, every plant around us is a master plant. And we've yet to discover how they are, in fact, a part of ourselves. One such example could be the banyan tree. I became a man, I could say, in Hawaii. I grew up in a way, right, during that time that I was there, because I went through so many life trials. And I found myself really drawn to the banyan trees. They're like these mangrove trees, and they're figs, by the way. People may not know that they grow down and they grow up to the same degree. Roots come out of their arms, and they stabilize the tree, and they could grow infinitum out in any direction. They look like octopuses to me, on land. But you might find many birds in the banyan tree. People can swing and hang on the ropes and the cords. And what many folks may not know is that there's so many healing properties. Even people in Hawaii may not know that there are healing aspects to any ficus, any fig tree, but let alone, and more so, the banyan tree, whether you're utilizing the leaves, some of the bark, the root, the shade, or just the fact that when you hold it, hug it, and you're in its presence, it does work on the body. You don't even have to ingest. So the other thing that I would, like to then bring in, since I'm speaking to ingestion, are you ingest your impressions, right? You drink water, you drink liquids, you eat food, solids, okay? And then you also eat, through all these other holes, the impressions that are upon you. So your environment does play a role. So if you're navigating anxiety, my suggestion would be, because maybe not everyone has the opportunity to go see a doctor. Maybe you don't even trust them. Maybe even your holistic doctor, your holistic medical care facilitator is a little bit kooky, or you just don't have the time. Take the time to sit with yourself, jot down a list of the things that you feel are giving you anxiety, and then just begin to explore them one by one. This is how I've been able to navigate my journey with PTSD, with anxiety, with depression, dealing with suicidal ideations, journey with paranoia, the breaking of my mind and putting it back together, a possession. Yes, I've navigated all these spaces and more. And the fundamentals are what I espouse, even though I have and I'm able to access and use masterfully the other tools that we have at play. But it's because I know, again, to return to the fundamentals, which are cultivating your foundation as a person, male or female, identifying what it is, the uncommon common sense that may be escaping you. And sometimes it's just as much as asking someone else a question about what questions you don't know to ask. And that really can open up the door to whole new portals and dimensions for you of feeling at ease. And then the next thing is, again, it's what you drink, what you eat, what you expose yourself to. So what are you exposing yourself to? What are you watching? Is it the truth? Or are you exposing yourself to something that's playing on your dopamine, ruining your serotonin, throwing off your experience? Another thing, men, women. Okay, one of the things that you probably won't even hear people speak to that I notice a lot of folks are using to deal with their feeling of anxiety is masturbation. Fellows will go beat off, I feel great, life is good. And then the anxiety comes back, right? Going to pornography. Women, same thing. You have a clitoris, right? The thing is, it's made for orgasm. That's fantastic, beautiful. Don't overdo it, because you can still lose a lot of your life force energy when those clitoral orgasms. So it's not for me to tell you how much to do, but I am taking a moment to say, hey, let's look at things and navigate our journey in moderation and see what's actually helping us in a beneficial way to come to having the experience that we truly want to have, desire to have, and we know that we can. What are the things that are getting in the way? Yeah? So I've navigated and I see it, and I'm enjoying helping other men to move through their spaces of anxiety with some simple solutions. And I'm sharing right here, simple solutions for you. So share this on a page, share this in the men's space, because our brothers are going through so much right now, and being able to talk to someone and even just having, a truth sent your way that, yeah, some of the solutions are very simple, but it's not simple if you haven't cultivated those foundations. So the foundations that make these simple are day-to-day discipline, a willingness to set certain things aside. And you do it little by little, right? A lot of people are swayed away from making a major shift in their life because it's called major. But the major shift is a culmination of many little shifts. And so if you're willing to just do one kick a day, next thing you know, you're a karate master. Do you get what I'm throwing down here? Look at one thing. You have the list, just work down the list. Give yourself a micro task. All right, I sat with the people in my surroundings today. Who is it that when I am getting ready to come in contact with them, do I feel this way about? Well, what is it about them? Because ultimately, it can't totally be them because they're a projection of me. So what is it in myself that this person's presence and energy is mirroring to me? Do I need to look back on my instances of navigating with other people similar to that person? Because I'd sure like to make peace with myself, which ultimately means I would make peace with that version of myself that is the external person. Obvious, brother. You know? So the intention of this, and of course, the preceding post that I'm going to do, I'm going to speak to a lot of the emotions that are coming up in the groups, but also emotions that I've been seeing, feelings that I've been seeing in the men, and also things that I know are adding to and drive people to the space so far to hurt other folks and to also commit suicide and to navigate in a way. Many people are committing suicide one little bit at a time, right? By actions that don't benefit them and build on them. And so I want to begin to address that, and we can do this in a very simple way. And all you need to do is contemplate and look. But it always takes effort. It takes effort in a decision. Like I said yesterday, and even within the men's group, we're being initiated by life. And then people are creating initiations. I do both, right? But ultimately, I'm with life's initiation. And so you cultivate aspects of your character. You take that with you as you move into the next plane. You're already doing it day to day. Evan said something really great yesterday in the meeting. He said, you can change today. And that's a nice gift, right? Essentially, you don't have to do what you were doing yesterday today. You can shift your habits. You can shift your thought process. You can shift the way that you express yourself as the artist of life that you are. And then observe. So create some time for you to observe. And if you're making shifts, if things are changing, this has been the biggest shift in my life as of the last 2 years. Take the time to give yourself the adequate space that you need to look, observe, appreciate, feel, revel in your successes. And let that be embodied. And create space. If people are, diving into that space and taking away your lollipop, nah, fuck that. You hold on to your lollipop in life. And you take it all the way down to the bottom. Take that little piece of stick that's left, you put it in the trash can and don't litter. You understand what I'm saying? This is yours. And then you get to keep that joy. It's activated within you. And not only that, as I've witnessed in town as well, people can feel it. It's palpable. Why? Because it is alive within you, alive in your consciousness and in your experience. And you're being given so many things. So trust that you receive some value from this. I'm going to go hydrate right now. And I'm going to go send some beautiful energy out to all those of you who have had the opportunity to watch this. And I again ask, if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling anxiety, and you can apply this to any of the feelings that you're having, look at the definition, the etymology of that feeling. Take a list. Write a list down of all the things that you think. It's not about being right the first time. It's about going on the journey. All the things that you think might be creating that feeling within you. And then make a choice to shift those feelings by taking action. The action is taking the notes, building up that common sense, and looking at and experimenting with yourself, first and foremost. And the experimentation can be something that's beneficial for you in the long haul, in accordance with your personal principles that are high value and that treat your own body and your soul with the dignity that it deserves. And then you extend that out to other people. Next thing you know, you've navigated through what you thought you couldn't, because none of that is greater than that which animates your avatar. And so a lot of the anxiety, a lot of the feelings of paranoia, a lot of the depression, a lot of the compulsions, all of these are things that are going on in the mechanisms and the mechanics of the avatar that you're navigating. The thing that you are that navigates, that asks the questions, that's listening to me right now, beside your body, right in your ears, that thing doesn't hunger. It doesn't sleep. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't suffer. Like it's amazing. And so it's navigating the avatar. When you were playing Super Mario Brothers, those of you who are old enough to remember, Mario had a mission. He had things to do and he had a time limit, right? But I was playing, I could pause the game. I could think about some type of strategy. If the time ran out, I was still around. Why? I was the one navigating the avatar of Mario as an expression of myself, learning lessons through the game, okay? But the time didn't run out for me. But there's a larger game now that whatever's animating my avatar is playing. And so there's that connection. And I really hope you catch what I'm throwing down here. You know, there's that connection. And so just be in the space of the connection that you are. Zara, aloha, my sister. How are you? ¿Cómo estás? I'm here. I'm talking about the emotion of anxiety that many people feel. And also I send a little precaution in terms of how people navigate as they journey into this space. And the reason I mentioned psychedelics as well, and I forgot to say this, but let me put this in now. Bien, en Cancun, okay, excellent. The reason I mention the psychedelics is because quite often they open up a person's nervous system. When you open up a nervous system, then you begin to feel more. So if you're already a sensitive person, there's one area where you can, learn, practice some grounding, but really get in touch with the sensitivities that you are and not overtake them or overthink or make them think, okay, now I'm going loco, but it's really like, okay, this is how my body reacts to everything around me. And with the medicines, and I know firsthand as having served them, they all open up the nervous system to be able to receive more. They open up the nervous system antenna to receive more of the being, but the sensations that a person feels in conjunction with that opening can be off-putting, and hence why I speak to the integration. I love, that you have also integration as part of the medicine that you work with. And so that integration is helping people to understand now the subsequent sensations that they're feeling, what to do with them, how to put them in place as you navigate and create a beneficial outcome for the choice that you made. Thank you for tuning in. I'll probably sign off now, but hit me up if you're coming to Tulum. And then I think I'll be in Cancun for a special thing. So if you're going to be there for a couple weeks or so, then maybe I'll get the opportunity to check you out as well. Maybe talk a little business, and loving the artistry that you are. That's directly to Zara. Check her out. Epic, my Kamkak sister, Ahatipi. And this is Ez. I hope you have a wonderful day. Any other thoughts to speak on other ways, very simple ways that help a person navigate with their anxiety? Feel free to put them in the comments. It will help someone. Breathe. Feel yourself. Look at your surroundings. Observe. Take notes. Come to some of your own conclusions. Try out other modalities. In conjunction with those modalities, ground the modalities in with common sense. Are you drinking enough water? Are you surrounded by people who make you feel a certain way? As reflections of you, what the heck is going on? Be willing to confront that situation, but do it in a way that's compassionate, tactful, and that considers the fact that that person is actually a connection to you, which you can be around, you can leave alone, but ultimately the bottom line is you got to deal with the thing, the source thing that's activating that sensation within you, which is anxiety. And then also, don't do anything drastic. Sometimes it gets to be so much that you just want to end it. I've been there. Press the button, leave, beat some people up, choke someone out, etc. That's when you take a pause, right? Life gives you the opportunity, the motility, the ability, the opportunity to pause. So take that moment and pause. Come into that peace and put the little pieces of peace together until you've got wholeness. Aloha. Thank you.